Have you ever been home alone and heard a sound that made your heart race? Or felt a presence when you knew you were the only one there? In today's video, we're diving into 3 true, disturbing home alone horror stories that are guaranteed to keep you awake tonight. So, turn off the lights, sit back, and prepare yourself. If you dare. Imagine this. It's a quiet night, and you're home alone, doing some chores when you realize you forgot the laundry in the basement. Our first story comes from a young man named Lucas, who found himself in this exact situation. Only when he went down to retrieve his clothes, he wasn't alone. Lucas had always hated his basement. The walls were old, covered in peeling paint, and the single dim bulb barely lit up the dark corners. But he shrugged it off, thinking he'd be in and out quickly. As he reached for the clothes, a strange feeling crept over him, like he was being watched. Just as he brushed it off his nerves, he heard soft footsteps echoing from behind. Now, maybe he's just hearing things, right? Or maybe he should have just worn the same clothes twice and avoided this whole situation. He glanced over his shoulder, expecting to see nothing. But standing there, shrouded in darkness, was a shadow. It was tall, almost stretching from floor to ceiling, and it had no face. Just a dark silhouette staring back at him. Lucas froze, his heart pounding, but when he blinked, it was gone. Convinced he was just tired, he quickly gathered his laundry and turned to go back up. But as he reached the top step, the light flickered, and he heard a whisper. "Stay." Lucas slammed the door shut, his hands shaking. He left the basement light on that night, but every time he passed it, he swore he saw that same dark figure staring at him from behind the door. So, maybe it's a good time to start outsourcing laundry, huh? If anything, it's a great excuse to never go back to that basement. And Lucas? He never did laundry at night again, but he still hears those whispers every now and then, echoing from beneath the door. Our next story is about Mia, a young woman who decided to spend a quiet weekend alone at her parents' lake house. What could go wrong, right? Just her, the lake, and total solitude, until she met someone who wanted her attention. The first night was calm. Mia had settled in with a glass of wine, enjoying the silence, until she heard a faint tapping sound. It was coming from the large window in the living room. Thinking it was just a tree branch or an animal, she ignored it. But the tapping continued, growing louder. Of course, Mia's curious, or maybe it was the wine talking. Either way, she decided to check it out. As she walked to the window, her heart skipped a beat. She could make out a shadow on the other side. It looked like a person, standing completely still. Mia turned on the outside light, but there was nothing there. She took a breath, brushed it off, and went back to her seat. But the tapping started again, more insistent. The next night, it wasn't just tapping. This time, there was a face pressed against the glass. Pale, with sunken eyes and a wide, twisted smile. Mia's stomach dropped, and she stumbled back, clutching her phone. The face didn't move. It just stayed there, watching. She managed to call the police, but when they arrived, the face had vanished. No footprints, no sign anyone had been there. The officers told her it was probably a prank, maybe just her imagination, but Mia knew better. To this day, she can still picture that wide, unsettling smile staring back at her. So word to the wise, maybe bring some curtains on your next lake house getaway. Or a friend. A friend sounds even better. And if you ever hear a tap at the window while you're alone, think twice before you look. You never know who or what you might see. This last story will make you think twice before answering an unknown number. It's about Sam, who was home alone one night when he got a phone call from himself. It was late, and Sam was almost asleep when his phone rang. Groggy, he looked at the caller ID, and a chill went down his spine. His own number was calling him. Thinking it was a glitch, he let it ring out. But the calls kept coming, one after another. Finally, he answered. "Hello?" You'd think this was some elaborate prank, right? But Sam was about to find out that this call was anything but funny. On the other end, he heard breathing. Then a voice that sounded just like his own said, "I see you." Panicked, Sam hung up, his heart racing. He locked every door and window, convinced someone was messing with him. But as he went to close his bedroom door, his phone rang again. This time, he answered on speaker, ready to confront whoever was on the other end. But the voice was louder, clearer, and it was definitely his own. It whispered, "I'm right behind you." Sam spun around, but the room was empty. His phone dropped to the floor as the call ended. He didn't sleep that night, and every time he gets a call from an unknown number, his heart still skips a beat, wondering if he's about to hear that voice again. Next time you get a mysterious call, maybe just let it go to voicemail. Who knows? It could be you. And remember, if you ever answer the phone and hear yourself, it might already be too late. If these stories left you with chills, hit that like button and subscribe for more. We're just getting started with these terrifying tales, so make sure you don't miss what's coming next. Until next time, sleep tight if you can.